You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
We can deport violent, illegal criminals. That makes a lot of sense.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Obama was not the president for this system.
Do you think that House Democrats and Senate Democrats should try to cooperate with Donald Trump
if he tries to kick people off their health insurance? We're going to have a Youngstown street fight.
The American people, they voted against Hillary. They voted against this administration.
We pledge allegiance to one flag, and that flag is the American flag.
Welcome to the Abolitionists Roundtable, your all-access pass to the 2017 Red, White, and Blue Conservative Revolution. Join the conversation at 734-822-1600. Now, here are your hosts, Del Marsh, Phil Stargell, and Janice Daniels.
All right, thank you for joining the Abolitionist Roundtable. Greetings. This is your host, Del Marsh, and one of the greatest commentators, part of the Roundtable, a founder of the Abolitionist Roundtable. Phil Stargell is here in studio also. The mayor, keep her in your prayers. The mayor is she's going to be on a sabbatical for a while, and we'll see what happens from there. But until then, the mayor is still here in studio. We still have her chair here available. We still have her headphones in position. And so she's a part of the Abolitionist Roundtable. Again, greetings. Welcome to the Abolitionist Roundtable. I want to say that if you have any questions, if you want to make a comment, you can go to our, you can send us an email at art@wamradio.com. We'll read that email during the time of the show, during the process. Second, I want to say if you'd like to mail us any correspondence, if you'd like to mail that check for $1 million, of course, you spell million, M-I-L-L-I-O-N. You can mail that check to Art of Michigan, P.O. Box 135, Garden City, Michigan 48135, or you can go to our website, artofmichigan.com. And you can click on info and it'll give you that information too. And then the last thing I'd like to say that you can go to our website, artofmichigan.com. If you'd like to continue to support the Abolitionist Roundtable, we need your support. We're still in the process of our fundraising of fundraising. And so we were celebrating 7 years last month, or in January, we celebrated 7 years on radio. And that 7 years is thanks to you being a part of our show every Saturday morning. And we get up early. Folks, I understand we up early, but it was something that was said that the truth, a lie can get up and circle the earth before the truth get up and put on his pants. So we have to get up early and try to rebuttal all that happened this week by the drive-by media, the propaganda media. Of course, you notice that it was a story that's been resonating for the last 6 months. And when Mr. Trump, President Trump, Phil, came out with his tweet and said that Obama was wiretapping the Trump Tower, we noticed that headline, matter of fact, that headline that was in the New York Times, if you go back, I didn't print it out at the time. I just saved it in my email. I went back, the headline has changed. Mm-hmm. It's no longer that it's no longer the headline that it was the administration was being tapped. The New York Times said that the Trump administration was being wiretapped, based on they were following some of the people that's a part of his campaign. I noticed that story. Did they put the word surveilled in there? Well, yeah, they did put surveillance. Exchange wiretap for surveillance. And what happened is I noticed that when I put that information, I tried to find it. I noticed that everybody revise their stories. Mm-hmm. Because for one, they can't, this is something they can't afford. They can't afford for something like that to be attached to that community organizer. Of course, we know that he has a campaign. He has a office 2 miles from the White House. That's the underground campaign, anti-Trump campaign office there. You know, and then of course he got more than 200 offices around the country, more than 30,000 protesters that's available at any time, anywhere. You know, so that they can, folks.
And he also has his henchmen. Valerie Jarrett.
Yeah, you notice that Valerie Jarrett, you know, she decided that she need to be a little bit closer to the former administration. She decided. I guess she talked it over with Big Mama and decided that she was going to move in the Obama compound. Yeah. Can you imagine another woman coming to your wife and say, I'm gonna move in a house with you? It's something for somebody that another woman to actually move in somebody's house. I mean, that lets you know, that's real telling that they really have some things going on there. Yes. They really want to undermine this administration. They really want to undermine, they're not just this administration, but they want to undermine American values. Okay, so this is the new White House OFA. You know, remember, this is the Organizing for Action Command Center. This is where it all happened at right here. So when that propaganda came out, when that news headlines, that's when they say, oh man, we got to get that headline out of circulation, because now the fingerprints is gonna lead back to our favorite community organizer. And so, matter of fact, I even saw Comey. Comey don't want to comment. And Comey, this is in the New York Times, Comey asked the Justice Department to reject Trump's wiretapping claim. Wait a minute, why don't you investigate it? Yeah. Why don't you prove to us that it wasn't done? Don't just automatically say, Justice Department, you need to reject his claim. Well, prove him wrong. Don't just tell them what to do. Prove him wrong.
And one thing we got to remember, there are how many investigative organizations? I mean, you got all kind of you got NSA, ASA, and all. I mean,
CIA, every one of the acronyms.
And then all of the services have. All of the services have surveillance things. You know, like SID, Service Investigative Division, and all of that stuff like that. Okay. Each service has their own investigating thing. Okay. You're dealing with generals, ex-generals, former generals that held high office.
Yes.
These rogue agencies could come from anywhere. And from what I understand, that the investigation is supposed to be a thorough one. I heard that they're closing up offices and going in and telling people don't touch nothing, you know, and stuff like that.
Well, that's how it should be.
Exactly, you know, what it should be.
When we have very sensitive information is being leaked to the propaganda media, and the propaganda media turning around and you know, creating these fictitious headlines. For one, you know, when they for the last 6 months, we know, Phil, they've been running as headlines that the Russians manipulated the election process. But there's no proof. There's no evidence. Again, these are allegations. Here liberals. If you know the people that are the what they call the conspiracy theorists, they reject them, and now we have the mainstream media field out there with what they call what we would call conspiracy theory. Yeah. This is what they're you know, because they hoping they was going to find something during that time, so they write these stories about, well, Trump involvement or somebody in his administration. They help which he should have defended his a guy, what's his name, that was the first one to fall?
Flint.
He should have defended Flint.
Yeah.
You know, because they were saying that they were listening to his call. Wait a minute. So that's what the respond from President Trump's tweet, because at that time he was in the Trump Tower.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that they were necessarily listening to Flint calls, but they were listening to calls of the Russians.
Yeah.
And somebody in the deep state start leaking this information.
But here's the thing: if you remember back in the 80s and the 90s,
yes,
they did investigations on assassination, and there was a talk about in the Martin Luther King assassination. There was a military fire team that was surveilling Martin Luther King the day he got killed. And, you know, this is the kind of thing that you got all of these investigation agencies and departments and stuff like that. You got to be really, really careful as to what goes down.
Well, one department I do fear a little bit is that CIA, because we know that in the middle of the night, in the pitch dark, that they will take somebody out here and around the world.
And
so
they've proven
and
that
so
they'll do it.
Absolutely. But again, if people in these departments that are leaking information to propaganda media, and the propaganda media are turning around, especially with no proof.
And the one other thing about this,
running these stories,
is what Obama's office said. I think Obama said it, that he never ordered any surveillance or any wiretaps, right?
Okay, not a problem.
Well, that tells you right there that he's using deception. He can't order anybody to do anything, you know, without going into the courts and getting a wiretap permit and all of that. Well, you know, but he you know, there are rogues that may know what he wants, and they do it without.
Absolutely, we've seen that during the ultimately, IRS. Remember, the IRS was being investigated for blocking some organizations from not getting their 401c3 license. It wasn't that he said anything, but he gave him a wink, and they knew exactly what to do.
Ultimately, that information gets to him.
Yes,
and he understands it, and and obviously he passed it on to Hillary's people, because that was the big outcome of the election on the Democrat side. That was justification that why they lost, because collusion with the Russians, right? Well, what about the collusion that goes on down between Mexico and the United States?
That's right.
And sending all of these people and allowing all of these people from the countries below Mexico to cross Mexico and get into this country, because their embassies have gotten message from this embassy what to do and how to get in here and what to do when you get here and where to go to get support to keep you here.
That's right.
This is incredible.
That is incredible.
That's collusion, in my estimation, between Mexico and all of the countries south of their border that they allow to come through on that end. But what happened when
that's a good point. You have to travel through Mexico and travel through their border.
Yeah.
We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people.
That's right. And what happened to our Marine that went in there? What did they do?
They put him in jail, and we had to still turn around and negotiate to get him back. Absolutely.
I mean,
and he just kind of accidentally drifted off into their territory.
Yeah.
And so we noted this it was a collusion.
Yeah.
Again, it's to undermine our society, to undermine our culture, and it's just to undermine the country.
And how many times
drive down wages?
Yes. And how many times did we hear the Democrats say the Republicans are never going to win another election because the demographics are changing. It's more Hispanic.
Well, they did all that a little premature. You notice they tried to put all these dismissed groups together and thought that they were going to win an election with all these dismissed groups, and they know. And what happened is they came up far short of that.
Yes.
Okay, so in California. Okay, so in New York they got what they wanted, but around the nation, you can see if you looked at that map, man, around the nation and those counties all around the nation, Mr. Trump did a very good job.
Yes, he did.
We're going to go to a break for a minute, Phil. Then we're going to get to some calls. If you'd like to join the conversation, give us a call, 734-822-1600.
And now back to the Abolitionists Roundtable. Patriotic black American conservatism, leading the charge and advancing the 4%. Back to your hosts, Del and Phil.
All right, greetings. Thanks for joining us again. Oh, man, I'm happy to have Phil here. Phil is a very, very busy guy. Yeah. And so to still have Phil a part of the Abolitionist Roundtable, for me, is a real honor and a real pleasure. And,
it's my pleasure, because this is like,
this is your home. What are you talking about? This is like, folks, Phil, you hear Phil on Saturday at sometime at 12, sometime at 2. And, now you have your new hours right now. It's on Saturday at 2 o'clock. So he's no longer on Sunday it was at 6 o'clock on Sunday. So he has a new time, him and Reverend Dieter. And so, folks, I would, if you like this overdose of Phil, which I get mine, before the show, during the show, and also I listen at 2 o'clock too.
Well, that's what you were saying about the mayor. Last night, she and I were in Sterling Heights.
Yes.
Not Sterling Heights, 8 Mile.
I think you were in East Point.
East Point.
You were in East Point.
Yeah.
And you had the gentleman that was on a couple weeks ago that wrote that great book.
Yes.
You see something, say nothing. So here, Phil, real quick, let's get to some of our calls, and then we're going to continue the conversation. We're going to go to Joe, and Joe said Obama orders. Mm-hmm. Obama's orders. Yes. Good morning.
But before I get into that, I first want to congratulate you guys for being on the air for 7 years. It's hard to believe that you two subversive, and I won't use any further term that the left would want to call you.
Oh, man.
Have been on the airwaves.
Yeah.
Yes.
I bet you Samuel L. Jackson would like to say something about Phil.
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Joe.
I wanted to congratulate you and tease you at the same time. But you guys had touched on that Obama didn't directly order those things, like the IRS to give Tea Party groups and conservatives a hard time and audit people. It's just understood amongst the left. They all think that way. They're all fascists deep down. And when they have full control of the reins of power, they just know it's understood that they are to do those sorts of things, and they will always get cover from the White House when they have control of it to be able to do those sorts of things.
Yeah, you notice that during the hearings how belligerent the head of the what's her name, the woman that was the head of the
Lois Lerner.
Lois Lerner. Yeah. Did you notice how she when she talked to the questioners from the Republican side of the aisle, and most of them weren't really trying to really dig in and get to the truth. It's just like she was spitting venom. When she talked to them, when she addressed them, she did not have any respect for them because they were actually letting her get away with absolute murder.
Yeah, and the same with the dimwit guy that replaced her, and I can't think of his name offhand.
Yeah, I always, when I think of him sitting there with that glass of wine and you know, partying off of money that they spend at the end of the year, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
So, and if you did something like that, or I did something like that with money left over that wasn't accounted for, the IRS would have us in Minnesota there with Jim Baker. You remember?
Well, I mean, the abuse, the long list of abuses is ridiculous. I mean, we forget all the little things. And remember what they did to Cheryl Atkinson, the surveillance they conducted of James Rosen of Fox News and tried to undercut him, his reporting, his digging, Fox News' legitimacy, the auto bailout.
Yeah.
People aren't familiar with some of the underlying things that went on there.
Yeah,
a lot of Republican conservative dealerships were the ones that were closed down and put under.
Yes.
The left always thinks political. The left always thinks in terms of how do we destroy conservatives.
Yes. Somebody should look into the $1 trillion stimulus that Obama, scurried away. $1 trillion, and then he turns around and says, there's no such thing as a shovel-ready job. You know, and well, if there wasn't no such thing, why would you put that out there? Anyway, we got.
Hey, thanks, Joe.
Another break.
We'll talk to you soon. All right, folks, if you'd like to join the conversation, give us a call at 734-822-1600. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Thanks again, Joe.
You're listening to the Abolitionists Roundtable, patriotic, red, white, and blue, conservative all-access radio, with your hosts, Del, Phil, and Janice. They're leading the charge and advancing the conservative revolution. Join the conversation at 734-822-1600.
Hello, I'm Milt, and this is Logically Speaking Uncensored. Underground invasions against the United States. The word invade, according to the dictionary, means to enter for conquest or plunder. When invaders become active, their actions become an invasion. The United States has many decent, hard-working, God-fearing, legal Americans who are, because of political correct voodoo, living in an acute, sedated state of denial, unable to see, hear, believe, or accept that there is an invasion against the United States. But denial of truth does not negate truth. The United States Constitution, Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, and laws of jurisprudence are written in English. However, invading forces are hijacking the English language by creating alternative definitions and compound phrases as weapons of conquest. Words spoken or written are the dominant form of communication, and whoever controls the language will control the narratives regarding what can be said and what is right or wrong. To illustrate, the word gay originally means to be happy, but invading liberal wordsmiths redefined it to sanitize homosexual agendas, which allow them to format such misnomers as transgender. Both euphemisms, gay and transgender, are homosexual invasions upon heterosexual normalcy. Hate America, social engineers are invading schools with a virus called Common Core. Secular humanists are invading Christian morality protocols and values using the unconstitutional communist precept, separation of church and state. Judicial activist invaders like Judge Ginsburg infect the judicial system with opinions that elevate foreign laws above the United States Supreme Court. Violent rioters are not peaceful protesters. They are invading insurrectionist anarchists who should be arrested. Diversity is a new age segregation weapon used by liberal invaders to conquer and plunder every viable institution in America. Abortions are an invasion upon life and humanity. Islam, a fascist ideology, is permitted to invade the United States as a religion of peace while advocating killing of Christians, Jews, and infidels, and calling the United States Big Satan. Communists, fascists, Nazis, socialists, and the Democrat Party are all aligned as one invasion force against the United States. And together they confirm the saying, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend." When people reside or come to the United States and refuse to assimilate, disregard border sovereignty, insist upon their flag and language, they are not refugees or undocumented illegal immigrants. They are invaders. Cicero, a Roman philosopher and statesman, said, "A nation can survive its fools and ambitions, but it cannot survive traitors from within." If legal Americans are to survive the evil forces allied against the United States, we must have the courage to disseminate truth, recapture English language integrity, and heed the admonition of Cicero. Because it is the amalgamated traitors within who control the underground invasions against the United States. I am Milt, logically speaking, uncensored, saying, think about it.
That's it for it. All right, thank you, Milt, for sending that down. Again, Milt always sending down a great commentary. All right, folks, again, you're listening to the Abolitionist Roundtable. Conservative talk, and from a perspective of red, white, and blue. We're red, white, and blue here, folks, and that's how we look at it. We try to save a country. That's all we're trying to save a country, protect that heritage. Matter of fact, I was just, again, we're still talking about, this is an era, I would say, that they trying to make Trump a modern day a McCarthy, so this is an era of Trump as a modern day McCarthyism, and so this is what the liberals are, media and liberals in general, the Democrats, they try to rewrite this history. That's why they took the headlines out. I was just telling Phil just a minute ago how, again, just remember back in January they said that the Trump Tower was being wiretapped. Well, the New York Times did go back in and they revised their story. It says intercepted Russian communication, part of an inquiry into Trump associates, into his associates. Again, they're going to have to retweet this again because people are going to find out there was no associates, there was nothing there. But anyway, they're hoping for something being there. This is all a witch hunt. This is all conspiracy theory. This is something that you don't get from the mainstream media, conspiracy theory.
But that's what the Democrats are about. If you remember when they accused George Bush of flying in the Blackbird over to Tehran or wherever and making some kind of deal or wherever, this is the kind. And then what did they say? Oh, it's the seriousness of the charge. Just because we say something, and this is what we talked about them setting the rules of engagement and then making us play by their rules.
Yes.
you know, the only thing they wanted to do was get something in there to discredit Bush.
Yes.
That's all that they wanted.
Yeah.
And once they got that, they went at it like it was.
And guess what? We see the same playbook.
Thing.
It's
Yeah.
mirrored again. The exact same playbook. It's about driving down his numbers. Now, with any other politician, with any other Republican, it would work. It would have worked. It would have worked. But Trump is not a politician, and then. Second, he's an alpha male. And third, you know, you're not going to say anything about him negative and him not fight you back, period. He's going to fight you back. And so they dealing with somebody, a different kind of animal. And, man, I wish that that spirit that he has that's emboldened him to fight back, man, can triple down that water, it can get on the Republicans so that they can fight back too.
Yeah, and, well, hopefully it's in the people. That's where it has to be. If they like what they see, you better get out there and support what you see and ask for more of exactly what you're seeing, instead of like some of the spineless Republicans that we have. They want to tell you, oh, you know, Trump needs to stop tweeting. He needs to stop doing this. Let the man do what he's doing and support him, because what he's doing is he's exposing the monsters that's in that swamp that he wants to drain.
That's right. Phil, guess what? If he wouldn't, just think about this. He didn't go to the media when he tweeted out that he was being wiretapped. That's what drove them crazy. See, because they could have spent that. They could have spent it. They could have said, wait a minute, you're going to make these kind of accusations. You know, the whoever it was, the person that would have been interviewing him, they would have made him look like some kind of kook. When he tweeted out, he's tweeting out to his 20 or 30 million followers, and so he's going around the news media. Oh man, that bothered him. That he don't have to go to them directly to get his message out.
And the thing is that those people, in turn, went out into the streets and showed their support. Well, what happened? The Democrats decided they want to go out there and confront people. This shows you what they are all about. Now, how many of these little groups, like the Women's Day Without Women, or woman without man, or women's movement without any women, because they're all transgender.
Well, I was looking at some of the women. I don't know which one were women and which one weren't. So it was a day that I just didn't know. It was a day that I didn't know. That's what we call it. It was a day that I didn't know, because I didn't know what the heck was out there. But I know on that day that the Women's March, the so-called Women's March, the Bitches March, I know they had something on top of their head, man, that boy, oh boy.
But you didn't see one woman or one Republican out there talking about, you know, you can't do that and confronting people. I also see.
Wait a minute, you know, the pro-life groups was out there and they got in front of them. They didn't want no part of them right there.
But the women did not want the pro-life people to participate. You remember that?
That's right.
They did not want them in there.
See, they believe that freedom is the murder. This is the party of death. Now, again, that's all I'm mentioning. They murdered the innocent. You know, here they're trying to defend the guy that's on death row, but a child that never committed a crime, that's innocent, that's the beloved man. I know when you had your great-grand man, that was the apple of your eye, man. And you say, man, how can somebody actually put a needle and suck the brain out of this little innocent little child right here? You know, we pray for something, Phil. We pray for God to send the answer to this problem, that problem. He sent the answer. The answer come through a person. You know, how did Jesus get here? Jesus came through a person, and he saved humanity, becoming the ultimate sacrifice. What if there was no Reagan? What if Reagan was never born? What if Lincoln was never born? So the answer to our problems, it came to us, and myself and you and the mayor play a small part too. What if I wasn't here, there would be no Dale and Phil and the mayor today, and so on and so forth. But here, we're gonna finish this up. I'm gonna go to line 1, we have somebody that's on sabbatical that's going to take out a few minutes and chime in on the conversation. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning, Del and Phil. I'm enjoying your program. I didn't think you should go another day without the woman of the Abolitionist Roundtable joining the conversation.
Well, Phil, we thought she was out at the, what was it, a day without a woman. So
yeah, I didn't want our show to be the day without the woman.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You know, another one of the things that we need to do to solve some of the problems that we have in this country is focus on defending and defining conservatism. Amen. Because there's that missing link, it seems, that the good people of this country who were shown all across the country with that large swath of red at the November 8th election, that large win of the Electoral College that Donald Trump won, we need to learn how to stand up for our values of limited government, low taxes, national defense, family stability, and the love of our God. And so one of the things I'm working on is I'm trying to help promote the Michigan Conservative Union's annual conference called Michigan CPAC. And that's going to be held this year, April 28th, Friday evening, and all day Saturday, April 29th, at the Capital City Baptist Church, located at 5100 Willoughby Road in Holt, Michigan. And we're going to have a star-studded lineup of people, including Dr. Lee Edwards from the Heritage Foundation, Trevor Loudon, our great freedom activist from New Zealand, Dr. Richard Thompson from the Thomas More Law Center, Lieutenant Colonel Dave Ajema, and a host of other premier conservatives from around the country, if not the world, that will help us define what we need to do to fight this enemy that we are facing.
Yeah, it's deep, too. Yeah.
It really is.
It is
and
deep.
So
we're talking about in the deep state, yes.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm working on. That's why I'm not sitting there at my chair.
Oh, absolutely. We know that
you
need to work on the academic parts of some of the things that you want to do, and you are somebody that's out there on the front line. Absolutely. Phil gave me a report that you were at the event last night firsthand. I understand that it was a little bit lighter than what we anticipated, but nevertheless, he still got out his message, and people got some good information last night.
Phil. Yes, they did.
Yeah, and that's the author of the book "See Something, Say Nothing," which is the twist of the Department of Homeland Security's promotion "See Something, Say Something." This was Phil Kaine, who is a DHS founder, who became a whistleblower because he was stopped from being able to investigate the global Islamic movement that is one of our major problems. I call it the defining issue of our time.
Yes.
We have to protect our constitutional rule of law. We do not want Sharia law in America. And so Phil Kaine is going to be at Dave & Buster's in Shelby Township at 5 o'clock this evening, too, for the people who weren't able to show up in East Point last night.
Yeah, nice. Another thing, I didn't even get a chance to touch on it at all. Folks, if you would like to join the conversation, give us a call at 734-822-1600. This storm that happened on Wednesday, one of the reasons I believe that it was a little light, it's still a lot of people out there without power.
True.
And so, if you're out without power, give us a call. We'd like to know your story, where you at, because in my area, just so happened on my street, it was when I woke up on Friday morning, it was at least a dozen trucks on my street, and I went over a couple of streets. They wasn't on those other streets. I got power about 10 minutes prior to me getting home. I got power. But because I was going to have to put my wife in a hotel, my wife and my baby, because they say we can't sleep in this house another night at 50 degrees. No. I don't care how many blankets. Yeah. But now people are so a lot of people were affected by that. This is one of the biggest storms in Michigan, and we've had in years, Mayor, where over 600,000 people were affected by that right there. So I don't know. Did you lose power yourself?
I did not. I'll tell you, but at my office, I was really afraid that my picture window was going to come crashing in on me. With the squeaking and the it was like the wind was blowing so hard that I really felt as though that window was going to come crashing in on me. But thank God it didn't. Yeah, that was a major storm. It affected a lot of people. I do want to say, if you don't mind, and I'm going to get going, get back to work here. If people want more information about the Michigan CPAC, I don't have the website, but I'm sure you'd be helpful enough to say, if they want more information, go to artofmichigan.com and contact us through that way.
Send us an email, artofmichigan art at whamradio.com. I get that information. I'll forward that information out to whoever it is that send me an email. In addition, Phil, will be here next week. I'm gonna be out of town. Phil will be here next week. Make sure we'll look it up out, and I'll forward that information to him so he can go ahead and give you that information about it. Again, I wrote it down that it's going to be happening next month, April 28th and 29th. Always, the Conservative Union always have some really, really great speakers. Always, absolutely. So yeah, this is going to be good.
Thank you so much, Del and Phil. God bless both of you. Have a great day.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I just want to, just in passing, again, I'm talking about that this is is this like a Trump modern day McCarthyism? This is what the news media I walked past one of those, the Filth magazines, the ones that's in the grocery stores, and the headline was that Trump needs a psychological evaluation. See, folks, it was them that created this Russian stir. He didn't create it. All he did was tweet, I know it was some wiretapping of people that were associated with me, was that wiretapping from the previous administration while I was running for president. And so they had to now back off. They had to go back and rewrite the stories, Phil.
Yeah. And it's ironic that they want to evaluate Trump, but they don't want people to try to have some counseling to see about their twisted way of thinking about their sexuality.
That's right.
They don't want nobody taking their own children to try to see if they can tell them maybe this ain't the right way to go.
Yeah.
But then they'll turn right around and tell them, let him go through the transition and go through surgery.
Yeah.
But they wanna evaluate Trump.
They want to evaluate Trump, but then here we got people that's gender confused that the Obama administration helped push him out there in this confusion. We're gonna get to our call in just a minute, but I just want to read a headline. This is from yournewswire.com, and again, I'm not for anybody. I'm not for for Russia or Putin, but I noticed that Putin was a target of the New World Order. And so this is what he said: I'm a target and I don't want war. They want to drive me into war. I don't want war. And one of the things Putin said, and he says, Putin, the New World Order is normalizing pedophilia in the West. And so Putin is somebody, again, he's an alpha male and a heterosexual. Again, I'm not for whoever or whatever Putin does and what don't do. I'm just reading the headline. And so the New World Order have a problem with him pushing back on the filth on some of the things that he want to do. And so this is why they have a problem with him. Another headline was, Phil, that this is these are headlines from October prior to the election now. So he already saw that there was a target on him. He saw it was a target, and a target for what? He was thinking, why are you targeting me? I didn't do anything. Y'all trying to push me into war. I don't want war. Now he's going to defend his country, like we hope Mr. Trump and President Obama would defend our country too. Now this is another headline. This is from the Daily Mail, and again. he was saying that that there's tension going on around the world from the globalists, and Putin called for all people to come back home to the motherland. He says tension going on out here from the globalists. You need to come home to the motherland. And so I just want to bring these things up. Then here we got, the New York Times turn around and create a new headline, that intercepted Russian communication. Well, we know that they listen to anybody that's here that's Russian. We know that they listen to their Wiretap. But then there's people in the deep state in this from the previous administration that's leaking this information. And so these people need to get out. We need to find out who they are that's leaking this top secret information. I know you said, well, hold on, Snowden is leaking information. Well, he's getting information from patriots that's trying to save this country, because it's the news media, it's fake news that would do anything to protect the filth and protect this pedophilia that they're trying to work into this country.
That swamp that's working its way out of Washington.
That's the swamp. That's the swamp that's working their way into this. So let's go to, I think this is, who was it? Was this Gary? Gary, good morning from Hazel Park.
Good morning.
I'm sorry, Gary. We just kind of went off on a tent right there for a minute.
Hey, right on.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you what, you're talking about the globalists and who we have as lining up against us, and the Pope himself. I mean, this socialist from Argentina is telling us that being a patriot, a nationalist, is bad and evil and wicked. When you try not to get on the bad side of the Pope, because it's bad karma. But this guy, I mean, he's got to just can it.
He's putting out some bad karma himself. Every year he comes up with something.
You bet. You guys be well.
All right, thank you very much. See you next week, folks.
1,600 listeners. To continue the roundtable discussions by mailing correspondence to Art of Michigan, Post Office Box 135, Garden City, Michigan 48135.
Or follow Phil, Del, and Janice at artofmichigan.com. You can also send emails to artofmichigan@hotmail.com. And most of all, continue to listen every Saturday and tell a friend.